You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show.
Hi guys, welcome to Bar Rescue, Season 3, Episode 20, the season finale, Muscle Madness. And I felt the need to say that because of something that gets put in the bar. Welcome! So, well, this was an interesting one, guys.
It sure was.
I can just say, all right, so the bar was owned by two former strippers.
/ meatheads.
Yes. By the way, males, not females. Mm-hmm. Justin and Sean. They were... Okay, so when Justin took over the bar, the End Zone... By the way, there are 1,400 other bars in the United States named the End Zone. There's still something wrong with that, but anyway... When Justin started the bar, they were making $100,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Now that's crazy town. That's crazy town in a good way, but that's amazing. And then they got into trouble, which means they probably weren't doing their books right. But I don't want to call anybody out. And then he brought Sean in to become part owner. Now I didn't know until we get further into how much of an owner Sean was, because I thought they were 50-50 in the beginning. They acted like it was 50-50.
It seemed like that, but then you found out that Sean was only 15%.
Yes, which then I said I understood certain things a little bit better, because if you're 50-50, okay, so we have a bartender named Taylor. Oh, Taylor.
Oh, Taylor.
Oh, Taylor.
Before, can I tell you?
Yes.
As soon as I saw that, first of all, great, another awesome episode.
Yes, fantastic.
Terrible. Keven Undergaro here, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce anybody. I was so excited to get into this.
Especially because not even me. We have with us
So sorry.
Bar Rescue regular, Tall Mia.
Yes, Tall Mia.
Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. We always enjoy having her here, and it's always a blast. And I'm so sorry. I'm so rude. My Southern mother is going to give me a phone call after this and yell at me in a very polite way.
By the way, smoothest Bar Rescue open. Because normally we all have marbles in our mouth when we do this, but that was a great open.
Thank you.
We forgot to intro. But, my problem with these kind of guys that own bars, or any guy that looks that good, it usually something else ends up having to be missing work-wise. Because to look that good requires such a dedication to fitness, such a dedication to diet, and not just willpower with eating, but eating specific nutrients. And it's so I always am suspect. So I don't even like to hire those guys to do any kind of work, because that's where their mind's at.
And they're always eating. They're on a huge eating schedule. Yeah,
and you
the
can
Jersey
see
Shore. I know those
that's
guys.
right. And the neglect that you see in that bar. I mean, I get it. I get the neglect that I see in the bar, because that's not where their focus is.
No, that's not, because they expected everyone else to be able to have the focus there, because you had the two wives working there. You had a staff
But they're not telling anyone to do it.
Yeah, nobody.
There was no management.
Which was weird. It's seeing a bar, because a lot of times when we see our bar rescues, you see the staff come together and they work together. No one on the staff worked together. There wasn't one single person that worked together. And I've never seen a bar, honestly, you at least would have two people that would learn how to work. Even the people over at Saddle Ranch, and they don't make tips together, work together.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how, I've never seen a bar like that. That actually confused me a little bit, just to let you know.
And we have a special guest on the line right now for the Bar Rescue After Show.
Who's on the phone, Stephen?
It is the creator of Bar Rescue and the host of Bar Rescue. Special guest Jon Taffer is on the line.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, hi. This is a surprise. Hello, John.
Hi, John.
Hi, hi, Dorinda. Hi, Mia. Hi, Kev.
Hi.
Wow.
I was like, oh,
Fun to be here.
now I'm blushing.
Yeah, you are
I am
blushing.
You are.
blushing. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, guys. It's great to be. It's been a long season, and Kevin knows I just wrapped 2 days ago, and 44 weeks on the road this year. So I'm taking a few weeks off, and then we'll start Bar Rescue 4 in July.
Oh, wow. Tell me you're going to at least leave your phone somewhere for a few days, not answer it and just relax.
Yeah, I think Nicole's going to take my phone from me, honestly.
I knew I'd like that woman.
But I'm relieved you're going back in July, I have to say, because I want him to rest too, but I get nervous. I never want Spike to say, you know what, we got enough. We can just repeat the hell out of these shows and call it a day, because where would we be? There's such
Yeah,
a,
I think we're over 20 hours of programming this week, Kevin, on Spike.
That's crazy.
It was, I think, a 5-hour marathon this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, it is definitely like the Jon Taffer channel at this point.
Tafferfied. So, John, this episode, first of all, did those guys kind of remind you of the East Coast guys, you know, because we're both from the East Coast, growing up in like that area?
Yeah, they did. You know, guys that have that much time to be in the gym, I always sort of wonder about anyway.
I'm gloating, John,
Kevin.
because I said
Kevin
this
said the same thing.
before you got on the air. I said I never hire those guys because it takes too much time to look like that. They can't put it into the
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and think of all the other things they're not doing when they're doing that. It's interesting.
Right. You know, Ron Howard and his partner, when they'll hire a director, John, they're actually looking for that. They're looking for a director who's not about his appearance, because they want somebody whose mind and heart is totally in the product, in the film. But when I see guys like that, just in any walk of life or whatever work, unless it's to train me in a gym, I just know they're not going to have the dedication necessary.
Yeah, the same thing with a guy who spends 3 hours on his hair every day.
Right.
Oh, I
Right.
dated that guy.
Green hair Jesse comes to mind during the
Oh,
Yes,
I remember that
Remember
guy.
him?
I
Yes.
remember him. Oh, he was
Yes.
awful. Awful, I tell you.
Hey, John, were they Italian? Just that.
No, I don't believe either of them was, actually.
Wow. Okay.
I got to tell you, they were really good guys, and you know, they were in a bad place, and I just had to sort of break the cycle that they were in, and hold them accountable.
I felt like
And, you know, they really stepped up once I did that. You know, guys like that, Kevin, also aren't used to somebody coming in and taking control of them. And
Absolutely.
when you do it, and they submit control, they really do. So, you know, when they fall, they tend to fall.
John, at the end, the way they were emotional, the way you embraced with them, and then there were tears in your eyes doing your outro, and I felt like there was more that we didn't see that was cut down in terms of their reconciliation. Am I right?
Yes, and more than that, there was a family crisis. They didn't have money to send kids to school.
Wow.
And one of them couldn't send their child to daycare, and started crying hysterically in one of the scenes, and his wife started crying, and you know, whenever there's a family involved, then you fight much harder, and that's what's interesting about Bar Rescue. And sometimes people say, why do you fight for that owner? Well, you know, that owner has kids and a wife, typically. Those employees have kids and wives, typically. And there's more to fight for than just the owner. And you know, that was one of those cases.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew by the end of it there was more than we were seeing that was going on. It's interesting to watch him cry and then punch the monitor. And that's why I asked if he was Italian, because that's a lot of Italian guys I know, including myself. You cry, and then you get angry because you've been made to cry, and then you get violent.
That is true.
You're angry that you were made to cry, and then you get violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I totally felt what was going on there. And by the way, you know, this guy, his ears were mangled because he was an MMA fighter. So,
Oh, yeah, he was a serious guy. Did you see when they were in the hallway going at each other?
yes.
And he was freaking out. The muscles and power
His
on him.
forearms were enormous.
It was the craziest
I couldn't
thing.
believe they were able to hold him back, to be honest.
You can't.
That was,
I'm so sorry. You can't fake that because that was real. Like everything that was going on, I don't know if you guys watching this, and John, you were watching it. My stomach was in knots, not nuts, but knots watching the whole thing. And for you to be watching that and not get in there, how were you not able to do that?
Well, first of all, you notice I didn't get in the middle of it. Their wives were in the middle of it, which was good, because neither of them was going to hit the other guy's wife, and that was clear.
Right.
So having the wives in the middle of it was better than having me in the middle of it. It was more effective. The other thing I knew was, in that moment, Dorinda, if they did get into a fight, then it was going to be never-ending. I mean, all hell would have broken loose. So they couldn't make that first connection, or we were going to be in big trouble.
Because it was very scary. And everything that they did, I didn't even know about the $100,000 lien, but everything made sense. Because what was your reaction when it goes from a sports bar and then they're dancing on the bar, these male strippers? I want to know what was going through your head.
That was amazing.
Well, you got to know that I get a kick out of it when people say Bar Rescue is scripted, like something like that.
I get violent. You get a kick out of it. I get so mad, John.
Right. Well, we can find actors like that in every city we go to who can just walk in and deliver things like that. But, I'm sitting outside in the SUV, and we tell these bar owners, whatever it is that you normally do it. And so that's what happens. That's why the hypnotist was on when I did, long shots. That's what they normally did. So we put the hypnotist on. So that's actually what these guys did. And they would do it a few times a week. It was remarkable. And when I was in the SUV, it was shocking. And Mia, you've been in there with me when we've seen things like that.
Yes.
That was quite a shocker.
A great shot of all three of your jaws dropping at the same time.
Yeah, that was something else.
You know what else I liked about this, Joe? Once again, compliments to you and the producers, because we continue to shake things up. So this is the first time it was, I'm leaving, and when I get back, this place better get cleaned, and they didn't.
And they
clean.
didn't do
It's
it.
the first time we ever saw that.
Yeah. And then the stress test was pretty much canceled when they started, and we sort of did a second one. It's Kevin, sometimes you think that you say, well, boy, that crew is brilliant the way they reinvent this stuff sometimes. Honestly, we follow the lead of what's going on. And we have a saying in Bar Rescue, and maybe I'm the first one to say it, but in Bar Rescue, we work with what we have. We don't create what we don't have. And that's how we do the show. Wow. And we follow what was going on. And the fact is, they didn't clean the damn place. And that's the consequences for it.
Oh, it was just so nasty.
But I also felt that was very arrogant of them to not clean you guys, to step up and clean the bar. It was like, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, if he's not going to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Well, it made perfect sense to me why it became what it became, because nobody knew what to do. There was not a leader in the group. So when you have a bunch of people just bumping into each other, like, where do I go? What do I do? That kind of deal. Nothing's ever going to get done. Because there was enough, John, that staff was a pretty decent-sized staff, am I correct?
Yeah, it was a decent-sized staff, no question.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what to do during nobody was trained in anything. It was a joke. And by the way, the $100,000 tax debt, Sean originally didn't know about it. That also didn't make the final episode. He didn't know about that when he invested in the business. He learned about that when I was on property. So it was me who constructed the indemnity and a provision for the taxes and got their partnership done in spite of it.
Okay, so how long, then this is a good question then. How long had Sean been an owner then, of him not knowing about this tax lien?
About 8 months.
Whoa. Okay, so he...
Yeah, so he invested during it, and then he wasn't told about the tax lien. And obviously the tax lien hit, all the paperwork hit, and Jason didn't tell him. So that was one of the things that came out, and that was a real issue that we had to work through with them. And that was why Sean was challenging Jason's integrity so much, was because of that, as well as the fact that he didn't get his paperwork.
Oh, wow. That's because I was wondering, too, why he was so hesitating on giving him the paperwork. I didn't understand that until you brought all of this up. And because, hey, listen, you get paperwork, like Keven and I start something, off the cuff, we do something, sign paperwork, then nobody from that moment on, it's a business. You put that to the side and you can go on doing, have the other side of your, friendship and business if you have the paperwork. And it was weird. It was just such a weird thing.
Yeah, it also came out in the episode. There was a moment where Jason was trying to say, if this is your attitude, then I'm not going to make you a partner. He tried to weasel out of it a few times.
Yes, I saw that.
It was reminiscent. Yeah. Remember the episode, Keven, with Liz, the girl who was going to buy the bar?
Girl. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of.
Oh, my blood boiled for that.
I knew he was trying to weasel out. He's like, well, he didn't apologize to me, so now I'm not going to, like, what, dude, really?
Yeah, so it was reminiscent of that, where I got a lawyer to come in and document it and create indemnification papers and all that kind of stuff. And again, all that happens on the fly, guys. You got to realize we're on the phone looking for a lawyer, and we need him in like 3 hours.
Oh, wow. I don't know how you do this.
I know, it's amazing. But I also love, John, how you armed with the knowledge. You say it's simple. You do an I wouldn't have known that. To say, well,
it's what I do, Kev.
That's amazing. Yeah, you do it well. You do it. You're the best. You know what else, John? I've been liking some of the experts you're bringing in as well. I liked the girl with the she had a little red in her hair. She was kind of a suicide girl, kind of a punk girl.
Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie,
yeah.
Elvis's daughter. That's right. Love her, and I have to say, big fan of Vic Vegas. For a change up for the and by the way, John, was it your call or their call to bring in basically another meathead to confront other meatheads? So I figured like he was there because he could communicate with them better. No, not
like
kidding.
They speak their own language.
Yeah, but John, come on, speak to that.
Vic is a friend of mine. He's out here in Vegas. He has his own restaurant, and I've been looking to get Vic on Bar Rescue for the past year and a half, and looking for the right opportunity to do it. And Vic is a great chef, a trainer here in Las Vegas, very well respected, but he's a little edgy in his appearance.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to find the right place to put him. And this was a perfect episode
but John,
for him.
I tell you,
and he did a great job.
Great.
He's great. No, I tell you, he's I like a lot of your people because they balance you off well, but he's a good thug for you. No, I'm not kidding around. Like he is because he's excellent at what he does. He's also very aggressive. He's not soft spoken.
No one's gonna mess with him.
Right, and then you have that as well. So I like it. I was saying what I like is there's an all-star core. I think me is one of them. Russell, Chef Duffy. I'm a fan of Vic Vegas. I like Lisa Marie. I feel like there's a core of them.
Chef Nikki too. We can't forget.
Chef Nikki's great too.
Yeah, Nick Liberato. Brendan Collins
is
another one who's terrific. Who we're gonna have back.
And I like rotating them in, and maybe not too many more, but so we can. It's always fun to go. Oh, this week it's going to be Mia. Oh my God, I can't wait to see Lisa Marie with this group. Oh, it's going to be see Vic Vegas with the. It's fun. It makes it again. I think all these, but you guys are doing it. That's why I love the show. Just keeps evolving. It's not staying.
What's fun for me is, and Mia's going to smile when I say this. What's fun for me is sometimes we put an expert where they fit. Sometimes we put them where they don't fit.
True story.
Because it creates a much more interesting situation. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we've done that to Mia maybe once.
Wait, is that the land where the bartenders died?
Yes, Mia's first appearance. We talked all about it.
Is that where the
John, you had
bartenders
these weathered bar hags, and then you had this beautiful, pure girl you could tell has been on a good diet her whole life. And to see the contrast between the two of them, it was like, oh my God, that was the first episode you ever did.
Yes.
That was a Vegas episode too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Mia and some of the other experts is you can drop them in quicksand and they dig their way out.
Just gonna roll with it. You don't really have a choice.
You just gotta go.
And Mia can dig herself out with the best of them. I'll tell you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
So, John, with this episode, I mean, there is a lot that did happen, but what to you really stuck out? Like, what, besides, of course, the guys, their friendship and their partnership, but what else about this whole thing really stuck out to you? Like, I really need to do this. This is something I need to finish and make sure this happens for them.
You know, it didn't play a lot in the episode. The wives had been best friends for years ago.
I didn't even know that.
And when that waitress and the wives went at it themselves, and they had as nasty and as violent a situation as their husbands did. And it came out a little in the episode, but, you know, you can only fit so much in 42 minutes, and obviously we're focused on the two guys. But the fact of the matter is, at the end, when they hugged and kissed at the end, that was actually a bigger deal to me than the two guys doing it. That was a real step forward. And there were kids involved, and the kids didn't talk to each other anymore, and they used to be together, and they weren't. So there were a lot of things about this, and my biggest pleasure is when I can do something that impacts a family and children and has a lasting impact on people. And I sensed that rescue did.
Yeah, it was really good, and I noticed that with the women, because I was like, all of a sudden, you could tell during the episodes they weren't speaking to each other. It was just that weird.
Yeah, they had a bad thing going on. It's sad, Dorinda. They were four good people in a really bad place.
And I mean, the guys, even, you could tell, like, the stress was out. And by the end, they were working together, which was great. And talking to each other instead of wanting to fight each other.
Yeah, and I got an email from them the other day. They're doing great.
Oh, good. So the bar's doing well?
Yep, I've got actually a couple of updates that were sort of fun. I saw the twins a few weeks ago. They're as close as ever. They're doing incredibly well.
That makes me so happy.
That whole family dynamic has changed.
Oh, that was so painful.
I saw Jerry from Sorties a couple weeks ago at the Nightclub and Bar Convention.
Okay.
And he was there with his partners. Remember Hostile Takeover?
Yes.
And Jerry is doing great. I saw Donna from Chileans. Remember Donna in the morning? She didn't remember that I was there?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
That was her and her husband and the daughter, right?
That's Dorinda's most touching episode.
That episode made me cry.
Yeah.
So Donna has lost. She hasn't had a drink since I left. She lost 25 pounds, and they're out of bankruptcy, and they bought the building, and their sales are up over 300%. They're a great success story.
Dorinda's crying.
I'm sorry. I'm just so happy for those people.
I know. And now they own the building. You guys, that's like huge. They own real estate.
That's incredible.
That story to me was one of the most touching stories, because John, you really went in there, and they called in, and we listened to their whole story. But you went in there and you really fixed their family and did what you had to do to make sure that family stayed together. And they were just so, I'm honestly tearing up. I love that episode. That's my favorite one.
John, how's the daughter doing?
The daughter actually was with her mom in Las Vegas. She's left the bar now. Remember, she wanted to pursue her dreams, and she's going to college in film, by the way, Kevin.
All right, well, I'll send her our way, John, when the time comes. We'll help.
Yep.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah, she's going to be
it was
successful,
wonderful to see them. I also saw Jeff from Wildcatters with his girlfriend, and they're doing well. But, you know, it's fun to see them. Of course, Brad and Steve from Spirits I saw.
Yeah,
and Dorinda, you'll get a kick out of this. They're selling, you ready? 18,000 resurrections a month.
What?
They have a warehouse now, and they keep 60,000 mugs on hand at all times. They ship them in by 60,000, and those 60,000 now last them about 3.5 to 4 months. And based on season, they're averaging 18,000 resurrection cocktails a month.
So they're just great guys. Steve called in last week actually and was doing nothing, of course, but praising you, and just great guys. And then he Facebooked me and said anytime he wants needs someone to come in and or call in and talk or whatever, he's happy to do it. Just great guys.
They're the ones who really ran with it. And Dorinda, I do the light lifting in 5 days. When I leave, they got the heavy lifting to do. They got to now take it, market it, position it, massage it, and turn it into something. And Steve and Brad did that. Unfortunately, some others don't. But, I give them the stage and I give them the ship, so to speak, and they got to drive it.
Yeah, and the thing about it, as far as reality shows go for, like Hell's Kitchen and all these different Hotel Impossibles, all the shows in this genre, your show is the most successful, am I correct? As the bars that stay open and are successes and don't fail.
So.
Yeah.
I'm told so. I don't track it personally, and honestly, I don't know the statistics of the other shows, but I'm told so. We track it somewhere between 75 and 80%.
Wow.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's amazing, and that's to you. Kudos to you, because a lot of these shows, I think the average is 50%. Actually, it is 50%.
I know some are actually below that.
Below that,
what
I
I've
was going
heard.
to say, yeah, a lot of them are below.
I think it's the level to what you do, Dorinda. There's a difference between me and the other people in these shows, in that almost all of them in the food space are chefs. I'm not a chef. I don't migrate towards the kitchen. I don't migrate towards food, per se. I'm a business guy. And, I find out where it's bleeding, and that's where I go. And I have a broader view of the business because I'm not trained or disciplined in one specific area. And it allows me to go at it very differently. And you've seen it. Some shows are security, other shows are bar, kitchen, food. We've had music shows, DJ shows, and we go all over the business as is needed. I think that's what gives the show some of its depth.
I think that's what makes the bar succeed, John. And then the success of the show is the producing, and then you as a talent. I think it's really hard when you are a producer of these shows. So on the one hand, you want a talent because they have to be compelling to watch. And so maybe you'll get that guy or that girl. But then the problem is they don't know, they don't have the depth of your knowledge. But then, John, even if they have the depth of your knowledge, they don't have your contacts. And those contacts came from the School of Hard Knocks, the legitimate 30 years you have in the industry. So that's really hard to find someone who has all of those credentials. And that's why I talk about it every week, John, is I see with the way the level of these bars are transformed, it's either Spike is writing a giant check for the renovation, or it's you. And I believe the reason I believe it's you is because I see Fox, which is a network, Spike isn't a network, and they're not able to write the check for Kitchen Nightmares, which is a very big brand show. So it comes down to you.
Most of the things you see are my friends giving me what we need to make the remodels work, Kevin.
Yeah.
And in most cases, because of the nightclub and bar convention, and a lot of these companies sit on my board of my convention and my friends, so they support the show, which is really terrific.
It's amazing. All right, so John, we're 27 minutes in, and I have to ask you about pirates.
Now, I would have figured that you would have asked me about O-Face.
Oh, no, we'll get there. No,
we're getting to O-Face.
No, we'll get to those mofos. That's no longer a laughing matter, John.
No.
Honestly, I don't find them funny at all.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, no,
Despicable.
but because I find I find the pirates even more hilarious because of O-Face. But when it comes to pirates, John, what are your thoughts on it? Are you sick of hearing about it? Do you just want to move on or buy it, or do you appreciate the fact that it's now a legendary episode?
Oh, it was great television. It was 5 miserable days for me. It was. I mean, I was surrounded by people who could not speak unpirate. I mean, they couldn't. It was bizarre. I mean, One-Eyed Mike pulled a knife out on Jesse Barnes. It was outrageous.
So so that was our big, unfortunately. So we were big fans of One-Eyed Mike because he put on the chinos, he wore the polo shirt, he was willing to adapt. But we come to find out through watching the show again, he had a knife on Chrissy.
I didn't see that.
One-Eyed Mike was the kind of guy who would smile at you as he walked you off the plank.
That makes sense.
Well, by the way, part of the Pirates Code, because I know a couple of pirates. John,
There's
I know
a few
in
LA.
No, I know. There's many in LA.
Yeah.
And I happen to know 2 of them. And they have all these codes they live by. And one of them is every man for yourself.
Yeah.
So I know you're laughing. You guys are laughing, though. These people really live by this code. So any guy who's going to lose his eye in a sword fight playing pirate, I mean, he's as committed as you can be.
He's far gone. He ain't coming back.
Yeah.
I wanted to get him a designer Burberry patch, but he wasn't into it.
Yeah, no.
That would have been so cool. That would have been awesome.
I mean,
I
for
could
the
tour.
Well, for the longest time, I wanted to fly him in, John, but now with the latest revelation, I don't think I want One-Eyed Mike around now.
He might walk us all off the plank and take over. It'll be a mutiny.
It was a really unique situation. These guys were offended by the fact that I didn't think they should be in the pirate business. It was very personal to them. They weren't putting on a costume. They truly believed They were pirates in Silver Spring, Maryland, downtown.
I love it so much.
I have to say, I do love the commitment. I love when people are so far gone. I have to tell you, they're my favorite people, which Marie gets mad. My girlfriend gets mad at me for because I like to hang around with those kind of people. But John, they're still in business, it seems.
Oh, sure. What's interesting, and I guess this is, one of the dichotomies of life, is they're probably still in business because of Bar Rescue.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, what they did is she was a marketing communications director of a corporation before she had that place.
Before she lost
So
her mind.
she figured out how to work it. But the fact of the matter is, from what I'm told, there's a few people in there at a time. Giussiano is still cooking in the kitchen.
Oh, geez.
And my guess is, they're barely making a living.
Well,
That's it.
Just to keep it going. I figured it was because of basically we've made them so legendary.
Yeah.
Not we AfterBuzz, but just in general, the public
yes.
has made that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a book.
And for the record, I wish them the very best. I have no bad feelings. When they did that thing around the campfire, cursing me out and singing pirate songs.
When they burned you in effigy?
That was pretty weird. That was pretty bizarre.
That was a
I
little
guess I was a
strange.
little angry after I saw that. But honestly, who the hell cares?
No, John.
Let them go do their thing.
Yeah.
I hope their ship doesn't sink.
No, and honestly, John.
And may they not hit a storm at sea.
Well, John, I'm gonna be in that area in September, and I'm making my best friend go with me.
And I'm going down there, John, for Maria's book at some point for book signing. So I'm going over there, and I think that.
Oh, man.
No, I think it's to listen. I think it's to be embraced. I think it was one of the greatest hours of reality television ever, and I know Amy's Baking Company is the big Kitchen Nightmare episode, and then they even had a special where he returned, and it was so I just wonder, maybe after season 4, it may be worth a shot to try to go back.
A return to pirates.
But they're so
I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to do that by the network and a number of people. And as a general rule of thumb, I'm not the kind of guy to go back to anything.
Right.
But it's intriguing, Kevin. And we are doing some special clip shows coming up. Taffer's angriest moments, Taffer's worst owners. So we have some really fun clip episodes and things coming up. So you'll get to see them in the future. But I would entertain going there under the right circumstances. What I don't want to do, Kevin, is go there just to exploit it.
No.
That to me is distasteful. If there's a reason to go there, I would go.
John, could we find a way to make the pirate theme work in the downtown area? Maybe if we were... No, listen, because John's always great about knowing when people are so far gone. You have to work with
I'll tell you what, Kevin. If you and Maria dress as pirates, I will go with you.
Oh, my God. Yeah, really? Of course. And by the way,
because I'm already there in my mind.
Oh, my God.
And Nicole is sitting next to me. She will join me.
Let's do it.
Join us. But I expect full pirate attire.
Oh, you're going to get it all.
Full dialects for the evening.
You're going to get accents. You're going to get us in full costume. And I'll tell you something else. I'll get another 3 or 4 celebrities to come down and do it, too.
Oh,
it's a huge. I would to go back to the pirate bar and meet One-Eyed Mike and no, that's not even a question.
There's no hesitation in this. I'm letting you know right now, John. No hesitation in Kevin whatsoever.
None. Oh my God!
I'm talking to an ex-carny here. I'm in big trouble doing that.
Yeah, these are all my people. But John, we'd have to come up with a way. Because nothing is going to motivate her outside of the pirate world. So, wouldn't we have to find a way, if we know that if these are the cards we're dealt, if this is don't we have to just work within those parameters?
But Kevin, why do you still want to help her?
If you want to impress the Hells Angels, you walk in with the head of the organization. Who's the head pirate in America? Who's the big guy? Who's the Captain Hook of America these days? We have to walk in there with the most famous pirates in America.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
No, is there? I mean, who are we going to walk in there with? But the whole point is we have to walk in with our own army of pirates.
Oh, you're
and
right.
And then talk.
Right.
This is genius.
And by the way, you know what? We could probably find some. You're right. See, I knew John would get to it. We have to find one of the pirate organizations, one of the strongest pirates there is. And that's figured out a way to monetize this. Why are you laughing, Drew? I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to get us back to the pirate bar.
Now, Dorinda, if you are really into pirates and there's this pirate subculture, then there's got to be some famous pirate leader someplace in this culture in America.
Well, there has to
Who is
be.
it?
Stephen, find him.
I want to find the
Find
evil
him,
Knievel
Steven.
of pirates, Kevin.
Right.
Because, like, you're right. Because the Hells Angels have their, like, person, and I'm not going to mention that other group, but there's a bunch of little groups where they have the head. You know, you go to their leader.
Yes.
And there has to be a leader pirate.
Well, I know East Carolina University has the pirate mascot.
No,
That doesn't.
Steven, stop showing your age. Do the research and find me the pirate.
If you were doing a pirate convention,
Right.
who would be the headliner?
Thank you,
That's the guy
Steven.
we
Find
want.
me the person.
Oh, the Somali pirate from Captain Phillips.
No,
Yes, that
by the
would
way, I could
Now you're talking, Mia.
No, you're right.
There you go.
We could get him.
Ding.
I'm the captain now.
Now at least we have a real pirate.
Oh, that's a
with us.
modern day pirate.
Irish. I'm the pirate. Oh, you know what? We might be able to get him, John.
I got to tell you, we walk in with him, Kev. Now we're talking.
All right, now I have an assignment. Oh,
The only way to beat a pirate is to out-pirate them.
all right, I have my homework, John.
I'm going to start brushing off recipes for grog.
Okay. All right. So switching over, so finally to the dreaded O face. So we, of course, there are people online who actually defended them, who said, "Oh, they're actually nice people." John,
Really?
they were just awful. To me, I've seen that. I've seen so many of those people in my lifetime. Unfortunately, it was really a painful episode to watch.
It was painful to see. Does a nice person slap their bartender and chase him down the street that way?
No.
No.
Does a nice person allow a manager to fight somebody like that? And did you see what that manager said when she was sitting at the bar? Yeah, I punched her in the face, and they laughed at it
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they were waiting for me to come in.
John, do you
And
ever?
then when that manager said she's a whore, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
And they agreed.
And they agreed. And they agreed. They're like,
And they agreed.
In the,
So there is no good person who does those things. That just doesn't happen. You know, that is a defining moment when either you stick up for something that is right or wrong, or you don't. And they didn't again and again and again.
No. And
And there are no good people that fit into that envelope.
John, have you in the bar business, haven't you seen those, or even any business, haven't you seen businesses with just that kind of ownership and management, and then that bleeds down to some of the workers? I mean, because I've seen it countless times, you know, because I had so many shit jobs to offset my writing career, but I've seen it so much, and in the bar business too, where there's alcohol involved. I mean, just her sour puss, that like wino puss of that manager. You know, she's a young girl, but you know that scowl. She had that scowl on her face. It was almost permanent. But haven't you seen that
Oh,
a lot,
yeah.
John? In your
Yeah,
life?
you know what's funny, Kevin? Before we went in, I'm sitting in the SUV and her mic is on. And this is before production started, and I'm getting comfortable in the vehicle and stuff. And she's talking about how she's going to be the next Kim Kardashian, and how this is going to launch a huge reality career for her. And that's the conversation she was having with her husband.
Oh my
sorry.
God!
that's so
I
funny.
got to tell you, they would need a wide-angle lens for that show, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. You know what was just, well, I did like, I have to say, the only thing I liked about that whole episode was the bell that she had. It was awful,
yeah,
but it
was
was
that
like,
amazing?
that was like how she got somebody to actually listen to her bell. Who does that? That woman had power. Not good power,
the same
but
person
power.
who reacted to her bell was the one who was slapped across the face by her husband.
Yeah.
That was the same person. And to answer your question, Kevin, I've never seen violence like that in the workplace. Typically what I see is an over-aggressive owner who takes advantage of women, takes advantage of young girls, you know, overpowers them, intimidates them. You know, I've seen it in topless bars very often, where a lot of disrespect. I tend to be very quick to defend women for that reason, because I think in some cases their integrity is compromised. But I've never seen violence like that before, Kevin, and it was very upsetting to me.
I know, because Russell was here a couple of weeks ago, and we asked him about that too. And he said that he's never been in anything like that either. He's never seen a situation like that. And I have to believe, like, when we were reading on our YouTube comments, when someone was saying, they're really nice people, they were depicted wrong.
Yeah,
it's the
we
way
went
the
in-
filming
yeah,
was.
yeah.
No, nobody can fake that.
Yeah.
You-
And if you
No.
did fake it, why would you
Why
fake
would you?
it?
Yeah, why?
No. You know, Dorinda, if I told you to say, something that was offensive to you, you wouldn't say it.
No.
They did. And they said things and did things that other people wouldn't do. And that defines character. And there's a line that we draw in the sand that when people cross, we categorize them. And it's discriminatory, not towards people, but it's discriminatory towards certain actions, if you will. And violence is one of those things that we all discriminate against. It's a deal ender, it ends it. It ends relationships. And that's what they did. They ended their relationship with me by violence.
Violence and ignorance, too, on top of that, because you still stayed. You actually still stayed, and they still didn't take you up on your help. That was the part, besides the violence, was their laziness and not appreciating what you were still bringing to the table when they didn't deserve it at all.
Yeah, because they all just worshipped Queen Sheba.
Right.
That's what it was about.
She
It
was
wasn't
the
about the
prom
business.
queen.
It was about worshiping Queen Sheba. It was a bizarre situation. How about when the husband said, Kevin, she has my balls in a little jar and she carries
them in her purse.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the hell kind of man says that, for Christ's sakes? You know?
Me. I do.
Even if she had her balls in the suitcase, would he say it?
Yeah. No.
No.
But for me, John, okay, so even in the carny business, I saw a lot of that because I saw the violence. But even when I haven't seen the violence, I have seen that kind of narcissistic crazy. By the way, I see it in television all the time. I see a lot of executive producers who would like that kind of woman. It's just all about them and, kissing their ass rather than creating the product. I mean, unfortunately, I've seen the dark side. I don't know. Maybe I've just been in different situations than you guys, but I've seen them all too many
there's a
times.
dark
You
side.
just walk away.
But-
I just wanted that waitress
But
out
Kevin,
of there.
the carny business is about as dark a business as
Yeah,
it gets.
yeah, it is bad. But also
I mean,
television and film
you're
is
betting
just as
down
bad.
with murderers in that business.
Yeah, absolutely.
that is true.
Yeah, and they were. No, they were, and you're right. But I saw a lot of our business. If you took the violence out, I saw a lot of our business in that bar too. I know a
Yeah.
lot of Queen Shebas who run TV shows, and I know a lot of guys like that who are bullies. They'll throw things. I mean, I've seen. My God, I don't want to mention names, but I saw an A-list star producer throw a mirror at her head. At her head, it shattered everywhere, and I was standing there. I was 10 years younger, and I was like, I don't know what to do. It was a Queen Sheba. Do I punch the Queen Sheba in the head? Do I defend? I literally just froze because I couldn't believe what I saw, and this poor other female star took it. So I've seen. I mean, again, Hollywood, carny business, not too far.
They
not
both
so
have
different.
murderers and criminals in them.
Well, I always say we have fame and fortune on the line, so there's a sickness that comes in our business, John, of the people. So
What's interesting is power bases, vary from people to people, but it doesn't to them. If somebody who has a TV show is impacting millions of viewers, millions of dollars, so you'd say, it's a reasonably powerful position. But this is a guy who owns a bar the size of a trailer.
Right.
And, he's the king of that trailer.
Ugh.
That's his little world.
Yep.
And Joe the bus driver, that bus is his world.
That's it.
And, everybody, attacks their own little world differently.
Yeah.
And that was his way of controlling. And I'm guessing that his moments of violence were the only chance that he could break out from her grip.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Reacting.
believe that.
That's it. You're
Yeah.
right. That's it. And my just advice is to anyone who's around any of those situations: do your time. It's like prison, and get out, and just get far away. I mean it. Get far away from people like that, and leave them to themselves. Leave them in their hell. They'll never grow like you think they're gonna. They act like they're winning because they own a bar or whatever. But get the hell away.
How about this, Kevin? How about this? She was on Good Behavior. There were cameras there.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's her at her best.
Think about that. However she acted, it was probably restrained.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So imagine her at home. Can you imagine when I left that bar and they made us pull the cameras out? Can you imagine that house that night?
Ooh, that's where I would have wanted to see the cameras at.
Could you imagine?
Would they?
And of course, she's going to blame him, Kevin. It's all going to be his fault, of course. So, anyway.
Do they join together and blame weaker parties in the bar?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know,
I'm sure it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And when you walked out, did they try to follow you out or anything like that? Oh, they just stayed. That's interesting. For
I
people
just walked out. You know, it was another interesting moment, Dorinda, was in the beginning of the show when I was blaming her, and she blamed her husband. And I said, he's gone. He's deployed 6 months. How the hell is it his fault? And she still wound up twisting it and blaming it on him. She always blamed everything on him. And then he went in the office and apologized to her for the failing bar and such. She had this ability to blame everything on him, and he took it. It's an interesting relationship.
the one I hope we'll never see again.
No, we'll never see it. But I do have one other quick question about another episode. And just one question about, did you expect that woman to get out the frozen meatballs and throw them at people?
No, of course not. She pulled them out of her purse.
Exactly.
And I didn't see the bag. I didn't know she had them. And I've got to tell you, that was one of my favorite episodes because of her father, Pops.
Yeah.
That guy was great. I loved him.
He was, yeah.
And there was some really heavy emotional scenes where he was crying with me and his.
Hey, John.
Oh, we just lost him. Let me call him back.
Okay.
All right.
No.
I
Yeah, I
was
remember
like,
Pops because Pops was a really, you could see he was.
Yeah.
I think, was he a cook in his past? I mean, he knew.
He knew the business. I think he
Yeah.
was like a manager at a restaurant. He knew the business pretty well. That's why they had brought him in, because they didn't really know anything, you know. And plus, my favorite was the bouncer.
All right, we got him back.
Hey, John, we lost you.
Oh, yeah, you know what they didn't let me say in the air? She looked like Mickey Mouse. She had the red shoes and the polka dots and the yellow dress.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sheba. Oh, my God.
I think you referenced her.
You know what? That was perfect timing, John. I was just talking about her.
But Dorinda, you're forgetting the best part of that episode was the kitchen fire. That was unbelievable.
That was-
wow. Wow.
There's just.
And when we went to hit the fire, I was with Brendan Collins. And, of course, that's all real. And I'm standing there, and it's growing. And now it's in the stack, so now I'm really worried it's going to flare. And if the flame touches the bin of oil, it could explode.
Yeah.
So it's seconds away from exploding. And I say to Brendan, do it. And he pulls the fire extinguisher handle, and it's dead. It didn't work. Remember?
Yeah.
I thought that was it. I'm serious. I thought that was it. And then we had that other fire extinguisher. And then all the purple powder came out. That
Comes
was
out.
something
That's
else,
right.
boy.
And John, by the way, in the carny business, I can't tell you how many times we had greased fires and how many times the fire extinguishers were dead just like that. So I've seen it all. And then the big smoke show afterwards, the powder going everywhere. Yeah. That
was something else.
And again, you can't know. There's no way Bar Rescue's gonna light a fire there's the liabilities involved. There's no way you're gonna stage that.
But people actually believe that, and and I say it now. And look, Kevin, you were there. You've seen these episodes. Dorinda, you were there too, and Mia, you've been there. And I get very offended when people just say, "Oh, that was scripted. That was set up." I was there, and they weren't. And the fact is, it isn't set up. And Mia, you can say it sitting there. Kevin, you can say it, and so can you, Dorinda.
absolutely.
That really bothers me. That's the one thing that offends me when people say the show is set up or scripted.
Yeah, it offends me too.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. I've had like a few people that I know that watch the show, and that's what one of the first question they'll ask me. They're like, well, the second is, have you ever met Jon Taffer? And the second one is that show scripted? I know it's got to be scripted, and I'm like, it's not. You can't script this. You cannot. There's too much that happens in this business, craziness that you can't script this.
And you could not create that level of
We
film.
certainly work the moment.
Yeah.
But we don't change the moment. And Mia knows that, being on the show. Never is she told to do something that's not real or deceitful.
No.
Our job is to work what we have.
I'm being greedy, but I'm just hoping next year we get more wackos, John. I mean, I'm always so paranoid that they're gonna.
They run amok in that business.
There's people gonna play act for us. I mean, I love when we get the people again, like pirates or like the cockroach guy. Those people who are just so diabolical, just horrible, or so delusional. They make the best TV.
Yeah, that bar closed though.
What
You told
about
me
the
that.
gay bar owner? He was a hell of a character.
Oh, we had to ixnay him from the show. He wanted to come on, and we were like, no.
Yeah, because
no.
he was coming from a bad place.
That and the owner of the Brixton too. We ixnayed him also.
I didn't want him either. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was a shame. It's a shame when people just are so negative. They're given such a great opportunity. And, all they have to do is work it and run with it and thank the heavens for it, because it really is a gift from the heavens.
It's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
But John, I don't like when sometimes I can see some of these people now know it's a gift, so they're working hard at behaving, and I hate that. I like when they're, you know what I mean? I like when the mask falls off and you see who they really are. That's the most fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's what I try to do as a host, Kev, is I try to break through all that BS and get down to the core. And there's hours sometimes that I have to, go at these people. Mia knows this from being on the set. You see those staff meetings that I have for a couple minutes. Sometimes that staff meeting will run 2 hours nonstop. I will stand in front of them, lined up in front of me for 2 hours. And I will go up and down the row until I get stuff that I can work with. And sometimes it literally takes 2 hours to get it.
Wow.
That's just crazy. But you do it because you love it. That's what honestly shows at the end of the day, that you have a true love for this.
John, are you exhausted though afterwards, John? After the 4 days,
Yes.
Are you blown out?
Yeah, I'm mentally exhausted, Kev. It's a different kind of exhaustion, because I'm not building the place myself, so I'm not physically exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. And when I get back to my room, it's typically 2-ish in the morning, and I plop down on the couch and I'll stare into space for 45 minutes, but come back to sanity and then shower and get ready for bed. But typically I go to sleep for 4:30 in the morning, and then I'm back at it, in the next morning for 5 consecutive days. And it gets to me sometimes, yeah. But when I'm there and I'm looking in their eyes, it becomes so real. I get my adrenaline and it happens,
But then you also, it's not even the energy, John, you also have to have those creative breakthroughs. Because I know I have a lot of, I consult for a lot of hosts in Hollywood and here at AfterBuzz. And it's, to sit with someone for an hour or two and to plot out their lives, it's exhausting, but it's also hard to come up with that breakthrough creatively to say, okay, you should write a book, or you should launch a webcast, or whatever it is. And the fact that I'm just astounded that every week you've got to pull a rabbit out of a hat. It's do you know what I mean? Like it's.
Well, let's pick the episode that Mia did, that Mia and I did together. And Dorinda, you were there as well with Maria and Phil and everyone. Those bugs were in that bottle. That strawberry syrup was old. That bar was what it was. And we just went with what was there. And, everything was absolutely portrayed exactly as it happened. But, me and I didn't know that until we wound up on site. Now, do I have people go in and check the bar before I get there? So if there's a bottle with flies, make sure I find it, because I don't have the time to look at every bottle on camera. You bet. I'll have somebody go in and take a look for me and find the bottle if it's there. Or tell me, John, there's a disgusting drain behind that sink. But other than that, I mean, it is what it is.
But you also have to come up with a creative. So after you find all the problems, then you have to heal the people, which is exhausting because most of the time 90% of the time they fight you, and then but you also have to creatively, John, create a new work environment for them. So that's signage, that's logos, that's colors, that's decorations, that's then that's.
What happens is, and Mia's been there for this, and this is probably the coolest moments of the show, is after the recon is done, and nobody knows this, after the recon is done, my crew clears the building. And then I go in with my crew, with my experts, and I design the bar right then and there with everybody. And sometimes it takes us an hour to talk it all through. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes. But we look at the room, we look at the environment, we pick the concept. Sometimes my crew wants to do something and I'll say no, and we go in a different direction. But it's actually all designed and figured out that night after the recon.
But that's nuts. No, but that's insane, because I know from any of the businesses that I've launched, John, it's months. It's months of going over the brand and the name and the logo and this and that. And do you know what I mean? It's crazy that you're saying 15 minutes to an hour.
Well, Mia knows this. We're signing off on drinks and cocktails, 48 hours before we open.
Very fast.
We're looking at menus the day before, and it's down to the wire every week.
And that's what's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It really is. It's just amazing how that can get done. And there's so many times, there's so many hits on this that you guys do this. And I think, how many episodes now have all together? I know this is this is actually our 50th, AfterBuzz's 50th episode of Bar Rescue.
Yeah,
doing it.
We have shot 61 episodes, Dorinda. 60 have aired.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I'm about to do 20 more.
God bless you. God bless you.
So, John,
and Keven, don't worry. There's a lot of unbelievably interesting people out there, and more sign up every year. So
thank you.
Don't worry.
I want to show up to another one again.
Yeah, John, any of the ones in LA, count us in.
We're coming. Because there's so much
So, John, just quickly switching to Hungry Investor, so I want to be able to give you a plug for that show as well. Tell me, what are the differences, your experiences with the two shows?
Well, Hungry Investor is a very different format. Hungry Investor really shows me as being an investor. And there are 5 criteria that we take 2 restaurants, we put them against each other for an investment. So my partners are John Desch, who's a James Beard award-winning chef, fantastic chef, one of the best in America, and Tiffany Deary, who's an Iron Chef champion and master chef. And she and John and I, if we want to invest in steakhouses, we'll pick 2 steakhouses in the city. We pit them against each other and do something called an invest test. And we evaluate the business by market potential, physical potential, production potential, quality potential, and the human factor. And then we run them through the mill, evaluate their numbers, and at the end of the show, we deliberate each of those 5 criteria as partners and determine if we're going to invest in any at all. And I'm very different in that show, Keven. In Bar Rescue, I'm coming into a disaster. I honestly don't care whether I make friends with these people or not. I'm going to fix them in spite of them. When I leave, I'm going to leave them in a better place and go on. In Hungry Investor, I'm not looking to make an enemy, or I do care more on a long-term basis. So I come at it hard, but I come at it for the purpose of finding a partner, not rescuing them and leaving.
That is a definite 180.
Yeah.
And the other differences are, Keven, is we're really analyzing the business. For example, Mia, you'll get a kick out of this, so will you, Dorinda. In one of the episodes coming up, I analyzed sales per foot per minute.
You can do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
And analyzing all sorts of economics of the business and the valuations of the business. And it's really a very different approach than Bar Rescue, because we're looking at asset value, cash flow, potentials in different ways. It's fun. It's different for me because I'm not the only host, so I don't drive the energy of the show. I don't drive all the content myself. So it's a very different forum for me.
Is it physically easier for you to do that show, John?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, because in Bar, Kev, I'm on camera, 10, 12 hours a day. And I'm always driving energy. I'm always pushing the content, driving the energy, pushing. In Hungry Investor, I don't have to push nearly as much. And, the whole show doesn't rely on me.
Yeah. It's just, I can't get enough Jon Taffer.
I love Hungry Investor. I'm in.
It is a great show. It really is. It's an amazing show.
But, John, I'm with you.
I'm very proud of it.
And I'm with Nicole. I'm excited that you have some time off, and for us, we're hoping to get some downtime too as well. So I'm hoping our paths cross. I know they're going to cross in a couple of nights. right? I think.
Yes, they are.
One night this week we're going to see each other. So.
Yeah.
And,
Are you gonna tell everybody what I'm doing for you?
Yeah. So early on in one of these shows, I was complaining as usual about our house. We have an old bar from the 30s that. We just couldn't figure out what to do with it. We had a pool table in there, then we had couches in there. Nothing ever worked. And so I said, geez, let's finally redo this place. So we started redoing it. I mentioned it on the air. So Jon found out, and I had said, God, Jon needs to rescue our bar. So Jon's actually rescuing the bar at our house.
No.
So right now, Jon, for that room, all of the sheetrock is down. It's a total bar rescue. The whole everything's torn down in that room, Jon. Everything. And the engineer came out to expand the side room where the bar is going to be. So everything is it's moving along. It's interesting.
Well, Dorinda, in Keven and Maria's bar, there's going to be 3 buttons on the wall. The first button creates a lighting mood and an electronic music system for a lounge. The second switch turns it into an ultra lounge. The music program automatically gets higher energy, and these LED lights kick in, create a different environment. Then there's a third switch you hit. The music goes up again in beats per minute, and dance floor lighting kicks in. So there's 3 buttons for 3 different levels of energy in their bar.
Shut up. Keven, I am so coming over.
We're gonna have a lot of AfterBuzz parties. I've already told Maria. And Jon, a couple of things. So we'll talk about it tomorrow night. But the beer tap, it doesn't fit in there, so we're gonna move that to the outdoor bar. And then,
put a wine unit in there.
Yeah, you got that. Okay. And then Jon, I also went rogue on you, and I ordered the 24-degree fridge for the aluminum bottles for outside. You know that
awesome.
one they make.
Why did you do that? I would have gotten it.
Because I know that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to ask. I was like, I don't want it. You've already done it's unbelievable what you're doing anyway. But it's
my
very
friends
exciting.
at Bud Light would have sent that over to you in a minute.
I had, Jon, I had one from Bud Light that they're the ones who gave me the idea. I had it for 5 years, and it died on me. And I asked Bud to send me one, and what they sent me was just a regular fridge. They didn't send me the Zap Chill one we're talking about. So anyway. It's fine.
What's the point of having a friend in the bar business if you don't call him, Keven? It makes no sense.
Because I call you.
And by the way, you tell Phil that don't worry, I have the stripper pole. It's going to be installed next to the bar. Phil shouldn't worry about
But is it removable so you can move it?
Oh no, it's permanent. I want Maria to see it every day.
She's gonna love it. Jon, you know what I want to put into? It's so fun. I'm gonna put a little TV behind the bar, so when I sit at the bar, I can watch television from the bar, so I can feel like I'm at one of your bars.
Oh, like your own personal sports bar.
Yeah, it's funny, Jon. I had said for years, and everyone who knows me knows this. I said I want to make enough money to have a bar in my house where I can just pay a bartender for one shift every single day, and he's just there tending bar, and I can be there at the bar.
Like Tommy Lee and his Starbucks, his personal Starbucks.
But I want my bartender, and I'm sitting there, and I'm at the bar. I can come into my bar, have a drink. Maybe for the 1 or 2 friends that I have, they can be with me. If not, I'm just at the bar alone. It was always my fantasy. Now, thanks to Jon Taffer, I'm going to be able to do that.
You're funny. I should get you together with my wife. Nicole wants a 41-item salad bar in our kitchen.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm not opposed to that.
That is not a bad idea, by the way. Not a bad idea.
Fully staffed 41-item salad bar island in the kitchen is what she wants.
Oh, I like that, though.
It's like soup plantation without the soup.
And then Jon, we are going to be talking about. So we haven't said anything on the air yet, but I'll tease it. We're talking about. If you watch Chasing Maria Menounos, our reality show on Oxygen, 2 episodes left, by the way.
Which I love.
Thank you, Jon.
I've got to tell you, and I've said this to you, I love how personal it is. Don't you, Dorinda?
I really do.
The way Maria and Keven have put themselves out there to the level that they have, I think is wonderful. It's a great show.
Thanks,
especially
John.
especially Keven, because you know we all know Keven well enough, and Kevin's not one to put himself out there. Maria, she's out there and she's great, and you get to see a softer side and all that great stuff about Maria, but to see Keven really in the forefront, and I know Keven, a part of that has to, because he's not that guy.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I'm taking one for the team.
But you're such a good sport.
But John,
Yeah, but he's really good on camera, isn't he? Dorinda?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Why didn't you do the soda?
Well, John, we're talking about our second annual AfterBuzz Bikini Party and having John be involved in it, Dorinda.
Oh God.
So, Mia, you have to come. But this
It's
year,
fun.
already there.
this year it's going to be even bigger. Sometime.
That's going to be rough, Ted. That's going to be rough, but I'll be there for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we're excited. So, John, well, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for giving us the most amazing reality show on television. And I'll see you tomorrow night. And then for our fans, we look forward to seeing you guys next season.
Exactly. Thank
Look
you,
forward.
John.
Look forward to it. Dorinda, always a pleasure. Mia, look forward to seeing you soon.
You too, John.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks so much. And John, everyone buy John's book because it's amazing.
Also,
On Amazon.com.
and I know that we have to wrap up, but I do want to say something to Mia really quick. So I saw this video with you in it with John LaJoie.
Oh, yeah.
From the league.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because besides Bar Rescue, one of my favorite shows
League is
is
great.
The League, and it is amazing.
It has gone viral. John LaJoie has an amazing YouTube channel. He's a friend of ours, and it just put together yet another phenomenal video. It's called Please Use This Song. You can check it out on YouTube.
It's a great song. It really is.
It's so
It's
catchy.
catchy.
It
It's a
will
very
stick in your
catchy.
head.
He is in it.
Yeah, she plays
I'm the hair dye girl.
She plays the Clairol
I'm
girl.
telling
Like,
you, Mia's, you're going to be seeing more of this kid. Remember I said that? I'm never wrong. Yeah, I'm never wrong.
Okay.
By the way, because you've been doing VH1's Morning Buzz.
I just did Morning Buzz Live with Nick Lachey when I was in New York last week. Mother's Day cocktails. You
Oh,
can
and
look
by
that
the
up.
way, I do need we're going to need, we want a couple of good bartenders, at least one or two, because this summer I'm going to throw a ton of blowouts, but I need a really good bartender. I don't want it to be you because I want you to enjoy yourself.
I'll give you a list.
No, we need a young
I know some people.
yeah, we know people.
I want a rookie who's hungry, who wants to please, who's going to mix us up some nice drinks.
You got it.
Yeah.
And in my bar, they can drink too. I'm not like John. All right. So where do we find everybody?
Okay, well, you can find Mia.
On Twitter, I am tall_Mia, and Instagram, tallMia.
Kevin.
At Undergaro at Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm going to be the hard one. On Twitter, Lula Cherry Films, and on Instagram at Dorinda B1. So, guys.
Steven, where do we find you?
You can find me here for the next season of Bar Rescue and doing the after show. Well, engineering it, but yeah.
And find us a pirate, Steven. Come on.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this season of Bar Rescue. We will see you next season, and thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.